New Jamal Bake Show, and I'm Jamal Bakes, and thank you so very much for listening to the station bringing you talk, news, entertainment that you won't get anywhere else. KUAWN of and about our community.
This is the last weekend before Christmas, and on Blue Side Mississippi, we're wrapping up our all Christmas blues and Southern Soul program.
Gene Bailey.
We have a very special guest that you will definitely enjoy, and we'll hear from some of the artists that sing the Christmas blues. Join me, Gene Bailey, for Blue Side Mississippi this weekend before Christmas, right here.
This is comedian Janelle Banks, and you are listening to KUAW, Kansas City.
KUAW listeners, this is Carl Boyd for Wave Your Grades, coming to you every Saturday from 1 until 2 p.m. right here on KUAW. This program features American students striving for excellence in honor of our troops and American.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? All right, all right. Let me see if this microphone is working here. Think it might be. We'll find out. Get a little monitor. Want to thank y'all for tuning in today. Trying to get it where it doesn't echo as much whenever I'm on here talking. So let me see what I sound like, if I can get that up. But this is the BFTAA and More Show with your host, Louis George Walker. And I'm glad that you're taking a little time out of your day to join in with me. Let's see if it shows me live. Right now, I'm not live. Trying to pull me up on Facebook here and see what I've got so I can tell what you guys are getting. So just a second, hang in there. Got a couple of things that we're going to talk about. It still doesn't want to show me as live here. Okay. Am I live? Are you seeing me? I don't know if I'm live on Facebook. We will have to bring that up. Let's see. Yep, it's showing that I should be live. And I will. Just a second. Have to know if everything's going right. Feel like a one-arm paper hanger sometimes here. Trying to get all these wheels turning in the same place, especially working remotely. But that's neither here nor there. Let's see. KUAW radio. Yes, it shows live. One-arm paper hanger sometimes. All right, and we don't have the echo. I think we're doing good. So, yes, welcome to KUAW Radio. I will stop this one. And we have a lot of things going on. I'm going to get you the what's going on in NASA. I didn't have time to pull that up so far, but I'm going to pull that up and bring it to you in just a minute. But I wanted to let you know a few things that are going on at the BFTAA and More show and at KUAW Radio. So first, this is the BFTAA and More show, and I am your host, Louis George Walker. Glad to be with you today. And we're here every Monday from 5 to 5:45, bringing you some of what's going on in technology, what's going on in the community, and what's happening with BFTAA. So the BFTAA is the Black Family Technology Awareness Association. We're in partnership with the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center to give you this show, which and radio station KUAW, which is Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom, and this show of BFTAA. So right now we're broadcasting from a remote location located in my basement, and I'm not up in the regular studio, but we hope to be back in the studio very soon, very soon. We've been doing a lot of things, and there's been a lot of work going on, so we wanted to get with you and update you on some of the things that are happening. We as you all know that we have an audio side and we have a video side. Right now you're watching me on the video side. This is our where we broadcast on Facebook, on our website KUAW, on Twitter, on Twitch, on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. So we broadcast live, and you're hearing this, and it's all going out well as it's been. And we're glad to be here with you. But we also have an audio side, and on our audio side, we play music and these same talk shows. So we have music, we have Professor Smooth Jazz, and we have a few other shows going on. Our syndicated shows, Cheryl Underwood Radio, Warren Ballantyne, Blues Time in the City. A lot of things, a lot of new artists, a lot of independent artists are played on there. We do a lot of jazz artists and interviews with them. So all of that goes on our audio side because licensing will not let you do the music from a radio station on Facebook. So, or YouTube. It's a lot of licensing that they would have to go through. And so far, I think they've decided not to do that. Even though you do hear songs and stuff on YouTube and Facebook, you don't really get, excuse me, the radio stations on there. Now, as far as the talk radio, we can broadcast and we can do all our talk radio on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, all of those, but not the broadcast music side. So that's on the other side. So we've been broadcasting for over 5 years now, and the KUAW radio station is picked up on the audio side, which it broadcasts 24 hours a day, 24 by 7. You can get it. And we have listeners in Europe, over in England. We have listeners in Japan, Indonesia, a lot of countries, and throughout the United States that pick us up. We have over 10,000 unique viewers or listeners that come in every week on our radio broadcast. So that is great, and we're really glad of it. But we had a problem with it last week to show you how the world of the internet and stuff work. Now, we're sitting here in Kansas City, Missouri, and our server system that we use to broadcast on goes from Kansas City over into Germany, and then from Germany back over to the United States or throughout the world. So the server that supplies all of the feeds out is actually located in Germany. We have a link that when we start talking on the radio or we start playing music, it sends it over to Germany and back. Well, last Wednesday night, I think it was Wednesday night, if not Thursday morning, and I don't know what the timeline would be over in Germany, but our Kansas City time, it was last Wednesday at some point. I know when I came home from church, I noticed that the radio station was quiet. And that struck me as odd because if our computer system ever goes down here in Kansas City at KUAW, the backup system on the server always comes up and it starts playing music so that you don't miss anything. So you don't have just dead air. You always have something playing. It might not be the same show or the same songs that we were playing, but it was going to be out there. So when I didn't hear anything and I didn't even hear the backup playing, I thought, okay, there's something going on, something wrong with the server in Germany because it should start up even if I had a link down or if the internet went down from my location to get out, it would have picked up and started playing. But since it didn't play, I thought we got a problem. So I looked on my emails, and lo and behold, I got an email from the company saying that there had been a fire, and they had a link. So I clicked on the link, and there's a building that was blazing or had been on fire, and they had some TV reporters, all of that, or I guess German news, where this huge building, our data center was on fire, and it burned up, and it actually destroyed the servers that our radio station was on. It destroyed tons of servers. A lot of companies had problems. I was looking at the list, and there's a lot of companies that work or parts of companies that work out of there. Some of the internet companies, some of your broadcast companies that were using this data center. So when it went into trouble, it knocked out a lot of people, and we happen to be one of them, KUAW. We're probably one of their smaller fish in the whole equation, but let alone, still, that was a problem for us. So we were down, and we were totally off the air. No radio, no music, no nothing going out. And you start to kind of panic, and then you say, what can you do and how can you work? So I spent 3 or 4 days. I spent a couple of days with the company, and they said, they could give me another link on another server. I'd have to just get a different account. So I got a different account, but the only thing was all of our connections are hooked to the old account. So I've been in the process since Thursday or Friday of trying to get our connections brought over, because Thursday I had a new server and ready to go. Thursday, Friday, I contacted my web master and said, hey, I've got new links. This is what you need to be connected to and stuff. So they said they'd get on it. I've been trying to work with TuneIn, which is also a platform that we're on, and that allows us to be on a lot of other internet sites along with our Google and Alexa, so that you can talk to your Google speakers and say, play KUAW, and it would happen. Well, I've finally got my local service up. It came up yesterday. So thanks to Blue Symphony, who manages our web pages, they got the links on, and we have the radio station on KUAW.org. So if you want to hear the music we were playing, some of the smooth jazz and all of that, you can pick that up right now on KUAW.org. But our TuneIn account is still not up. I haven't heard back from TuneIn. I sent them the information, all our that we were up, the fire damage and all that. So hopefully, as this week goes on, we will get back up on the TuneIn. But that was that's how my week ended last week, and kind of started, well, like I say, by Sunday, we're getting some things back together and we're broadcasting again. So if you want to listen to Cheryl Underwood, the Cheryl Underwood radio show, which I played part of that for you during the time here on my show, or not on my show, but on KUAW online, so that people could still get some of that Cheryl Underwood feel. So that was a good thing, and now we've got it back on, so you can listen to that. Also, you can listen to Warren Ballantyne, who is on there. Matter of fact, I wanted to play a little bit of that, of what he's been doing and of what Cheryl's doing, so that you'll get a feel for what we do through the week around here. So let's see if I can find what I had on for Cheryl Underwood. Yeah, here we go. We've got a bit of it. So you don't get to hear this every day on our show, but this is a show that we have on. If you listen to KUAW.org, as the sign behind me says, KUAW.org, you can pick this up every day from noon until 2 o'clock. We have lunch with Cheryl. So at lunchtime, if you come on and join Cheryl Underwood, this is a little of what you get. So check this out.
This is Harry Sutherland, your favorite country lawyer, and I'm the brother who's going to work things out. The word of the day is patrilineal, and it means relating to or based upon relationship with your father or descent through the male heritage line. Republicans, I want to talk to y'all today, specifically Senator Lindsey Graham, who said that part of the $1.9 trillion relief bill is reparations for black farmers. Yeah, you said it, Senator Graham, but I want to talk to you about that. But you're saying that they what they want to receive is probably some type of loan forgiveness if they qualify. But the bill don't say just black farmers. It says minority farmers, but it says also all farmers. So anybody who's distressed and disadvantaged may, I would say, apply for loan forgiveness. It does not mean that they're going to get it. But let me go back and say this. Historically, in 2020-21, there are 3.4 million farmers in the United States. Only 45,000 are black farmers. Listen now, out of 3.4 million farmers, only 45,000 are black farmers. Why is that, Senator Graham? Well, let me tell you why. Your patrilineal ancestors stole their land, forced them into selling their land, and did not provide them with the same resources or subsidies to allow them to be able to compete like white farmers. That's why there are only 45,000 farmers left, or black farmers left in our country today. So this is not reparations. This is what is due to Americans, and it's not enough for black Americans and black farmers to get what's due to them because of the land stolen. I tell you what you do. Wipe all this bill out, $1.9 trillion, and give them back their land. Give them back their resources. Give them back their loans that y'all owe them, and then we'll call it even. This is Harry Sullivan, your favorite country lawyer, and I'm a brother who's working things out.
All right. Those are some of the shows that are some of the talk that you hear on the Cheryl Underwood show that goes on here every day. That was Harry Sutherland. He's a lawyer and a county representative in, I think, South or North Carolina. But he's on every day with Cheryl Underwood. They have a few other people on there. So you can check out the Cheryl Underwood show. Every day of the week we're on. And she even does a show on the weekends. We do a late night cupcaking. She does a spiritual nourishment show. So we carry all of the Cheryl Underwood shows and specials right here on KUAW Radio. And they're really thankful that we do. So check that out. Now you can pick that up at KUAW.org. And as soon as we get the TuneIn app back up, you'll be able to pick us up on your Google and Amazon smart speakers. And that's what we're working on now, is to build that up. So those are some of the things that we do here. That's some of what you hear. I also wanted you to hear a little bit of Warren Ballentine, because Warren Ballentine has a good show too. And if you haven't been picking it up, now would be a good time to start listening to it. Because, I mean, we're putting it out there for you so that you would have it, so that you would be able to pick it up and to enjoy. So let's see. I think I've got something from back in Black History Month. Let's see if it's in there. Let's see what we've got here. See if we can play this. So now, as I said, you can check out Cheryl Underwood every weekday from noon till 2. And before her for 2 hours, if you want to pick this up every day, you can check out Warren Ballentine. The Warren Ballentine show is on every weekday for 2 hours, from 10 till 12. So we go from Warren Ballentine to Cheryl Underwood, and then to Scatter's Old School Jams. So we have a good lineup in the daytime. So if you haven't been checking it out, if you've just been looking at our videos, you may want to take some time to go to KUAW.org and listen to some of the audio that we play. Now let's see if we can hear a little bit of Warren Ballentine's show.
Welcome back to the Warren Ballentine Show, heard coast to coast and border, giving the truth fighters a voice in the call for justice. Join the truth fighters in full effect right now.
Let me thank everybody who's listening to the show. Tell your friends and family members about the show. Look, I will say this. The name of this, and I'm going to do this at the end of every show from now on out. So that people are like, ooh, what was that you were playing? I loved it. Slavery by Another Name. Okay? Slavery by Another Name. That's the name of it. So you can look it up yourself and find it yourself if you want to replay it, if you want to rehear it. So let's go back out to this and finish up as much as we can.
A new generation of civil rights organizations had emerged. Among them was the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, founded in 1909 by a group of activists, including W.E.B. Du Bois. We claim for ourselves every single right that belongs to a freeborn American, political, civil, and social, Du Bois wrote. And until we get these rights, we will never cease to protest and to assail the ears of America. This battle we wage is not for ourselves, but for all Americans.
W.B. Du Bois is very clear that the ways in which Jim Crow laws, violence in the form of lynching, disenfranchisement, and overall disrespect of black people's basic humanity is something that has to be seen as a force that holds black people down.
This paradigm, the NAACP's, was there can be no negotiation for civil liberties. They must exist totally, fully, and immediately. More than a new narrative and a new voice, it also feels a degree of litigious activism.
They are saying that there needs to be anti-lynching law. They are saying that there needs to be reform of the justice system. They are saying that labor laws and labor arrangements need to be reformed within the South. And they're becoming increasingly effective in terms of doing that.
This is what you get.
By 1908, the year Green Cottonham was arrested, the South's use of prison labor was changing. County governments continued to profit from renting convicts to private industry. But growing numbers of states, in what was billed as reform, began to use prisoners on state-run enterprises. Chained together, prisoners on road crews became an icon of the modernizing South.
Perversely, one of the biggest motivating factors behind the creation of the chain gangs were that Southerners all across the region were frustrated that the roads of the South were the most terrible imaginable roads in America. The economy couldn't grow effectively. Crops were lost in the fields simply because the roads were so terrible.
The conditions for chain gang prisoners were equally horrific as they were for convict-leased prisoners. They were subject to the same modes of brutality, the same beatings, the same standards of meager health care, meager forms of shelter, clothing, food.
Talking about a
chain
penal
gangs
system
continued deep into the 20th century,
along
with other forms of forced labor, including debt peonage and sharecropping.
A sharecropper will agree to work for a percentage of the proceeds of the sale of the cotton crop. Sharecroppers had to take out loans in order to survive and in order to bring the crop in during the year.
50, 70, 90% interest rates were not uncommon all throughout the South in relation to sharecropping finance of the basic necessities that they needed to get through a year.
50?
So that system is going to put African Americans in a position where upward mobility is essentially impossible for most of them.
Sharecropping also engulfed growing numbers of whites, including immigrants. But without legal or political rights, black sharecroppers were especially vulnerable.
Millions of black people in remote parts of the South could not leave the farms they were being held on. If they did, they were subject to arrest by the sheriff, and if they were arrested, they would then be returned to the very same farms, oftentimes in chains, receiving nothing. Sharecropping is not slavery, but it did become, for an enormous population of people, forced labor.
Families stayed intact, probably within a 2-mile radius of where they were born. Mothers, fathers, cousins, grandparents, everybody stayed. If you
like
knew
that today.
by the mere fact of leaving exposed you to the danger of being caught up in this system, it made you stay. You knew what would happen if you stepped off.
It's like Chicago, everybody stay. Everybody stay.
I grew up in Monticello, Georgia, which is a small town about 90 miles south of Atlanta. My paternal grandmother was the daughter of John S. Williams. He died long before I was born. But I heard from my uncles, from my father, from people who knew him that he was a wonderful man. He was well respected in the community.
In 1921, almost 18 years after the peonage trials, federal investigators visited the Williams farm to follow up on reports that he was holding peons.
There's a group of black men out in the field. The men are obviously terrified, unwilling to say almost anything. They're emaciated. They clearly have been terribly abused. John Williams suddenly appears.
He pleads that he didn't know this was against the law, that he'll do better. His intentions were good, very apologetic to these federal officials, and they leave. And he doesn't know what they're going to do. He knows they found evidence that he was holding these people in slavery. He talks to his foreman, Clyde Manning, and says, as the court transcript said, we've got to do away with these boys.
The family story was that he had worked prisoners on his farm, that they were hardened criminals and they had been put in the penitentiary for a long time. And one night, a lot of the prisoners tried to escape. And he, along with other farmers who were working these men, tracked them down and in the process of recapturing them, killed some of them. Then sometime later, the story came to light for me. It was, of course, totally different from the story that I had heard.
Williams and Manning, the black foreman, systematically hunted and murdered 11 black workers. Some were bludgeoned. Others were weighted down with chains and forced into a nearby river. Another was made to dig his own grave.
They did it in the most horrific ways that you can imagine that I really can't talk about.
She's shocked that her great-great-pappy did this to black folks. Look, if you don't do nothing else, tell somebody you love and appreciate them. I may not get the chance tomorrow. That's why I tell you every day, I love you, Lord. The love of Jesus. Not trying to push religion on you. I don't even claim religion. I claim spirituality. But I got to thank the Father for giving us a voice when we're voiceless, strength when we're weak, vision when we're blind. Thank you for everybody who's praying. Everybody. Thank you for the people who sent me something. Thank you so much. And thank you for everybody who's shown compassion and patience. You've been listening to the WB.
Yeah. So these are the type of things that you pick up. So if you want to hear more of Warren Valentine, he's on KUAW.org from 10 o'clock until 2, or 10 o'clock till 12 every day, Monday through Friday. And then it's followed up by the Cheryl Underwood Show, which is on from 12 until 2. So be sure and check out KUAW Radio. We're doing some different things. We're bringing you some different information and some very uplifting shows. So hopefully we can get you to check out some of our audio side, because we do these videos, but you only get a few videos a day of our live broadcast from we do with different guests and different hosts. But we'd also like for you to check out our audio side, which is at KUAW.org. You'll hear these same live shows, not right now because we're not in the studio, but usually when we're in the studio, we broadcast over KUAW.org as well as over Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So you get the audio on one side, but you get the audio and video on the live side. But right now, we're running our regular music, and then I'm putting like some of these shows after I've done them, I'll break them down to MP3s, and I can just play the audio side over there. So you'll still hear them, but not at the same time that you're hearing us going out right now. If that makes any sense to you, we're going to work on it though, because hopefully we can get that so that you will be able to hear just as we're talking and get it from there. But hopefully we'll be back into our studio where we have all of our equipment and all the things we need to make it a smooth and seamless operation. But I want to let you know we're still out there, and at KUAW.org is still bringing you some very uplifting, well, if not uplifting, because some of this stuff isn't real uplifting to us, but it's educational. And if you know better, you can do better. And that's what we have to do, is make sure that we continue to learn and to know about our past, know about our present, so that we can chart our future. Yes, and I was watching the news this morning, and I saw an article. I don't have the video to play. It come up of a young lady that's going to Arizona State University, so it got my attention because I have a granddaughter down at Arizona University in Tucson, but or University of Arizona. Wait a minute, yeah, University of Arizona. I don't know if the young lady's going. I think she's going to Arizona State, but anyway, it's 12-year-old African American young girl that has just graduated from high school, getting ready to enter college, ready to be an engineer. If you didn't see the story, I've got a link to it on the KUAW page, also on the Black Family Technology Awareness page. But this young lady's 12 years old, has finished high school, and is going to be entering college. By 16-year-old, she should be graduating. She wants to be an engineer and work for NASA. She wants to be driving one of the space vehicles, as she said at one point in her interview. And she also talked about the rover that was up on the moon, the robot that's up there. And her mother, the thing was that she noticed that she was working with Legos and could put stuff together when she was 4 years old. And her mother said she just encouraged it. She just helped support that. And the young lady turns out to be a prodigy. She's going to get a double major. She's I think she's doing one engineering class and chemistry major. So she's doing two majors, which is just mind-boggling to me, as I barely got through school at all. But it's a good story. So if you get a chance, go to the KUAW page or the Black Family Technology Awareness page on YouTube. On Facebook. And check it out, or if you've caught it on the news. But it's kind of encouraging to see some of the young people and what a brilliant mind that she has, that she's entering college at 12 years old, that by 15 or 16, she'll be a graduate. She's ready to go off to NASA and do some things. So, we want to support our young people. All of them may not be the ones that are going to be the next Nobel Prize winner, but they can all be something. And we don't know which one of them is going to be that great person. So we've got to support all of them. If we support all of them, then we know we're supporting the one that's going to really have the breakthrough. But we need to support all of our young people. Now, one of the other things that we usually do, and I've got a little time to do it, I got to see if I can bring it up, but we usually show you a little bit of what's going on this week at NASA. So I want to do that in just a second. Let's see if I can.
Perseverance sends more sounds from Mars. The rocket boosters for Artemis 1 are all stacked up, and preview of a weekend spacewalk. A few of the stories to tell you about this week at NASA.
All right.
Our Mars Perseverance rover has beamed back more sounds it has collected since landing on the Red Planet on February 18th. In this latest batch of recordings made by the rover's SuperCam instrument, you can hear the first acoustic recording of a rock on Mars being struck by a laser. The rock was given the name Maz, the Navajo word for Mars. Some of the zapping sounds from the laser impacts are slightly louder than others. The variations in the intensity of the sounds can give researchers clues about the physical structure of the target. The SuperCam also recorded sounds of Martian wind noise captured while the mast that holds the rover's microphone was still stowed. The muffled sounds are reminiscent of what one might hear listening into a seashell at the beach or with a hand cupped over an ear. You can check out these sounds for yourself along with other sounds of exploration at nasa.gov/sounds. Engineers at our Kennedy Space Center have completed stacking the Space Launch System, or SLS, solid rocket boosters for our uncrewed Artemis 1 mission around the moon and back. The twin booster segments were stacked onto the mobile launcher over the course of several weeks. Following a successful hot fire test at our Stennis Space Center, now targeted for March 18th, the SLS's core stage will be shipped to Kennedy and stacked with the boosters and our Orion spacecraft in preparation for Artemis 1. The International Space Station's fifth spacewalk of the year is slated for March 13th. During the outing, NASA's Michael Hopkins and Victor Glover are scheduled to service and relocate some jumper cables of the station's thermal control system, continue some work from a January 27th spacewalk, and work on some other tasks. The outing is the fourth spacewalk for Glover and the fifth for Hopkins. NASA astronaut Mark Vande Hei has been assigned to the International Space Station's Expedition 6465 crew. He and cosmonauts Oleg Novitsky and Pyotr Dubrov of the Russian space agency Roscosmos are scheduled to launch April 9th from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan. A collaboration between NASA, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and George Mason University is making high-resolution NASA data on soil moisture available to agricultural and natural resources professionals who use soil moisture and other data to plan crop planting, forecast yields, track droughts or floods, and improve weather forecasts. The Crop Condition and Soil Moisture Analytics tool makes data from our Soil Moisture Active Passive Mission and the Moderate Resolution Imaging Spectroradiometer instrument available in a user-friendly format. We teamed with American Aerospace Technologies Incorporated for a recent demonstration flight to simulate aerial inspections of gas and petroleum pipelines. NASA, the Federal Aviation Administration, and 3 industry partners are working together on demonstrations like this to show potential commercial applications of different-sized unmanned aircraft systems used in various locations and airspace classes. This research aims to accelerate the safe integration of these aerial vehicles for commercial applications into the national airspace system. That's what's up this week at NASA. For more on these and other stories, follow us on the web at nasa.gov/twan.
All right, so now I was being heard, now I'm not heard. So do you guys hear me now? And we're still trying to work with this and figure out how we can make it work better. But yeah, my wife said that my voice had went away and she couldn't hear me, so now you hear me. But anyway, we're getting ready to move on and move on out. So we appreciate you for listening, for joining in today, and we hope that you will continue to follow KUAW Radio. thank you for joining us today. Be sure and tune in. We're on BFTAA and More show every weekday, and every Monday from 5 to 5:45. I'm gonna go back and give you a little bit more of Warren Valentine as we get ready to say our goodbyes. But I wanted you to hear a little bit of that more as we go out. I think he does a real good show. It's been very enlightening. So a lot of the stuff that I've heard from Warren, and I've got to see if I can. Oh, it's not going to let me open it there. I don't know if I have the time. Okay, let me see. I can extract this. Let's see. Downloads Warren Valentine. Okay, let's see if I can pick this file up here. We may be able to get him, we may not. I didn't have those downloaded in advance, but let's see if we can get you another piece of Warren Valentine show. All right, so we're going to let this play until we leave out, and this is BFTAA and More, and we're letting you know the things that you can pick up.
The champ is here! The champ is here! The champ is here! The champ is here! The champ is here!
So you can pick this up every day.
The champ is here!
From 10 to 12.
The champ is here! The champ is here! The champ is here!
Kansas City is bringing
the champ is here!
More and more.
The champ is here!
Warren Valentine Show.
All right, welcome to the show today. However you may be listening, wherever you may be in the world, thank you for letting us be a part of your day-to-day. Man. Weekends go so quick, so fast. If you're just tuning in, just joining us. So, we've been doing Black History Month, and I've been playing for you guys things I love in Black history, okay? Last week, I played for you guys a bunch of different things, and I'm finishing up what I played on Friday. So if you missed Friday's show, I highly recommend you go back on one of the networks that we're on and replay the show. Now,
he's on KUAW.
It's a whole lot going on with me, personally with my sister and stuff. And I want to thank everybody. I want to thank Denise. I want to thank Mary. I want to thank Sherelle. I want to thank everybody. Lauren, everybody who's hit me up and just was like, hey man, we praying for your sister, Damien, all you guys. Thank you guys so much. And let me say this to everybody, because people are like, well, your sister can get this, your sister can get that. Yeah, we know. But it's a process. You can't just walk in and get it just like that. It takes months sometimes for this stuff to come through. And so she's doing as reasonable as you can expect. And like I said, I'm focused on that right now, but it's some other things that I am going to be fixing and working on as soon as I can. I just got to get all this stuff situated, get all this in play, because this was more than what I expected. And this goes back to what I was saying, when you don't know something, you try something, you think you know it, you don't know it. It's not that you're purposely doing it wrong. It's, you just didn't know. And so
that's right.
This is the situation that's kind of going on right now as we're learning, because she didn't have the cancer insurance. She can get SSI and other stuff for her and her kids and stuff, but you got to apply for that stuff. And when she first got sick, the very first time, her insurance was enough where it would cover it. And it went into remission, and we thought it was good, but it came back, and she didn't even realize it was back, and it came back with a vengeance. It went from stage 2 to stage 4,
Yeah.
which is I didn't understand it until I had to understand it. Now I understand it.
See, so this is what you get if you listen to the Warren Ballantine show. Not just commentary and news, but sometimes personal things that are going on in life, you know. So we've all been there, or if you haven't been there, thank God that you haven't. But a lot of us have been through what he's going through right now with his sister. But continue to listen to us, continue to support KUAW Radio, support what we're doing and what we're about. Listen to the shows. Check us out, KUAW.org. We broadcast 24/7 worldwide. So you can tell your family, you can tell your friends wherever they live, if they've got the internet, if they can pick up a Google smartphone or a speaker and tell it to play KUAW, we'll be there. We're going to get back on the Google Smart system as soon as my TuneIn app gets back up. But we're rolling with it. We're rolling with it. So thank you for listening. This is George Walker, and this was the BFTAA and More show. We're signing off right now, but we'll pick you up next Monday. Have a good rest of the Monday evening.
All right, you're listening to KUAW Radio, Kansas City's global community radio station. We don't only